Thank you. Sorry about that delay, and welcome everybody to Cabinet Procurement and Insourcing Committee, a special meeting. There are no apologies for absence. Do members have any interests that they wish to declare? There is business. And should we need to conduct any business in private, we'll move the necessarily motion in order to exclude the press and public. There are no deputations, so moving to item 6, Hackney Leisure Management Contract Agency Model. I think Ian Holland, welcome Ian, is going to present the report. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. The report you have in front of you today follows a report that CPIC considered at its 6th of January 2025 meeting, where it approved the variation of the existing leisure management contract to allow GLL to run the leisure centres as an agent rather than the principal for the remainder of the contract. The report in front of you today seeks approval from CPIC for the terms of this variation, as they vary from those outlined at the 6th of January meeting. The report outlines the various options explored with GLL, and in the exempt appendix, their financial benefit to the council whilst protecting services to customers. The recommended course of action is to approve the variation for GLL to run the leisure centres as an agent rather than a principal, and extend the contract by 5 years to the 31st of March 2034. And that's based on options 2A and 2B outlined in the paper. The report also recommends a number of minor variations to the contract to address existing arrangements that are in place with GLL and formalise those. I'm happy to answer any questions the committee may have in relation to the paper. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Councillor Kennedy.
Only that it seems an eminently sensible thing to do, Chair, and I can't see why we wouldn't.
I'm afraid I didn't hear any of that. So it's not your fault, it's the sound system.
Would you like me to say it again, but louder, Chair? I think it is an eminently sensible thing to do, Chair, and I can't see why we wouldn't approve this report and this recommendation.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions from members? Councillor Young.
Possibly ignorant question. Does this make any difference to the say or influence we have over the... Actually, I should have declared an interest. One of my children works as a lifeguard for GLL. Sorry. So does this, which is relevant to this question, does this make any difference to the sort of say or influence we have over the way that GLL operates in terms of its, you know, how it treats its employees or its outreach or its, you know, social activities?
Question? Ian, Tom? There's no change, Councillor Young. The existing contractual commitments remain in place. We're just changing the relationship so that GLL becomes an agent rather than delivering it through a concession contract. So those terms remain exactly the same. Any other questions or comments? Was just a couple of, I was going to ask about the length of the contract. I think you've covered it really in talking about the need to, you know, accommodate the big projects we've got going on in leisure, which makes sense, I think. I'll also just to make the point that, you know, while one shouldn't show from where we're sitting here that any particular favour for a recommendation. We do note that we, you know, have a long relationship with Greenwich GLL and note that they're, you know, a social enterprise company and meet many of our objectives in terms of both encouraging that sort of operation for business models and
Yeah, the social value that goes with that. I think we should make a note of that. Are there any other comments or questions of Councillor Williams?
There, I did want to specifically mention social value arrangements and welcome the work that the foundation is doing to support residents into active lifestyles and into careers as well. I think it's an excellent use of our social value mechanism with the council, so certainly welcome the report.
Thank you. So if there are no other questions or comments from either members or officers, I will then move to the recommendation. As recommendations are set out, I think in item 3 usually, yeah. So I won't go through all of those, but they're basically to approve the variation and delegate authorities for it to be put into place. So we're happy to do that. Thank you all very much, and thank you to the officers for a really important bit of work, delivering a whole load of vital services to the borough. So we didn't need to go to the exempt business, so that concludes the meeting, and the next ordinary meeting will be on the 7th of April. We'll see you there. Thank you all very much.